and like would literally tear every piece of clothing off my body in the middle of Town Street in the Bottoms. People driving by, people walking by, middle of the day. Nobody stopped him. Nobody called the police. Like, it was just me out there with him being just demolished and like nobody helping, you know? Like, how are you supposed to trust the world when you can't even, like, you don't stop for something like that? I just don't understand.
You know, one of the things that makes Ohio and Columbus unique is the fact that, um, you know, we're kind of in the middle of the Midwest hub, right? When you think of transportation, when you think of highways. So I got into writing this book, The Black Lens, because I was working as a reporter in Oregon, actually, about 10 years ago. And I was covering a very small rural town that included a truck stop. And some of my sources kept telling me to check out this truck stop because they were convinced that it was being used as a hub for sex trafficking. But for me, it began this decades-long quest to research and write about the issue, because I knew that if I couldn't write a news story about sex trafficking, I still wanted to write something about it.
Well, human trafficking for me started before there was even a law against human trafficking. I didn't even know what human trafficking was. So back in 2007, 2008, I was a judge here at the court, and I started noticing that cases involving women involved in prostitution were not very successful in rehabilitation. So really that was the way I got educated on human trafficking, is there were people that found women who were vulnerable and took advantage of them, got them hooked on drugs, and then started selling them. And that's how they got into prostitution and then came in front of the court system. The human trafficking docket that we have, which is called catch, or known as catch court, that's like any other special docket. The concept is that someone who's been a human trafficking victim has usually been sexually abused. The average age is 8.5 years old. Everybody's missing the signs all the way down the line, from children's services when they're young, to the school system, to the police, the firefighters, and oftentimes the judicial system. Misses them at every step of the way. And what we really do is we, unfortunately, kind of at the later end, we step in and say, okay, now we're willing to try to help you get back your life again. A lot of women know about the Catch Court program. They can come in asking for it now. So they can come in and say, you know, I really need the help. I want to escape and get free from this. Please help me. And we provide, on the service end, we provide, number one, we provide a safe, undisclosed location where they can live. And we provide basic needs for health, addiction, and mainly we provide trauma treatment. That's what we're finding most women need, because they're using drugs to medicate their trauma rather than using drugs because they're a drug addict.
Actually, it was the only shining hope that I'd had in my life. It was more restorative versus punishing. Although I was held accountable for my actions and I got consequences for things that I shouldn't have been doing, I was also looking at the inside stuff, like, why do I feel inadequate? Why do I feel like I have to steal to survive? Or and that I can be better. Like, and that was huge. Being in a room of people that were like me, that related to me, and that I could talk to and start to let some of that junk out to become a human being again. I think quite often people want to believe that it's not here in Columbus, Ohio, that it's not here in the United States, that it's something that happens in other countries, which is true. However, I think that people think that when you're being trafficked, it's because you've been kidnapped and locked into a room and you're being sold. But really, it's more of a manipulation tactic. It's more of a false promises and lies, and just manipulation and coercion. And a lot of times drugs are involved, so they're coercing people with drugs, like getting people to do what they want, and then they'll give them drugs, or they will keep their drugs if they don't do them. So.
I never was trafficked. I grew up believing from my own mother that I was going to be a whore. Personally, I've been beaten with a dog leash, the chain of the dog leash. There was nobody for me to talk to. Nobody believed me. Nobody cared about me. Growing up the way that I did, I would have been the perfect victim if somebody would have got their hands on me. College girls are frequently in situations that would lend itself open to the possibility of being trafficked, such as being, going out to clubs, being alone, leaving your drink unattended, not having a designated driver. I'm not saying that you can't have fun. I'm saying you need to be watchful. And it's something I just don't want I don't want another kid to go through it. I don't want another young woman to go through it if there's no need. And there's never a need. There's better ways to learn these lessons.
Rahab's Hideaway is a shelter for victims of human trafficking located here in Columbus, Ohio. However, our reach knows no boundaries. And the Switch is our education, awareness, prevention, and advocacy arm of our movement. I think we have to reach out to young women and girls before it starts. It's one thing to intervene after the fact, but if we can stop it before it starts, we won't have so many victims and so many atrocities as a result of human trafficking. Sugar Daddies is a website that primarily targets college students, millennial students. And so right now there's about 3 million college students, women, that are listed on that website that are trading their college education with guys that are paying for their education for sex. I think the state of Ohio's Columbus primarily is doing a great job at bringing education and awareness to human trafficking. I think organizations have come together. Our governor, our attorney general has done a phenomenal job at putting bills and laws into place to help us that are on the ground abolish and prosecute traffickers.